Only because you're fresh on my screen. Hello, Chris Schutte.
Hey,
How's your other,
Allison.
as your other wing healed?
Yeah, doing okay. I'm still not
Ah.
cleared for active duty though.
Yeah, I still have a wounded wing that I have to get fixed in November, a rotator cuff.
Yeah, but you're going far away for that, right?
Yeah, not happy about that, but
Yeah.
glad that you're doing okay.
Thanks.
Okay, we just jumped off of another coordinated entry meeting, so I know that there are a couple of people that are going to be joining this one pretty quick. So if we can give a minute or two for them to join, that'd be great. Don't worry, we can't see you, Jess.
Sorry, we were muted. I had to get right up in its face. Our owl hasn't been moving, and I was pushing a bunch of buttons on it to make it move, and I think it worked because now it's looking at me.
Yeah, those owls, I'm telling you.
And it always make the tables look like the Last Supper.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
conference rooms.
Yeah, we'll hold for a minute or two and then we'll get ready. Jess, could you add a mission moment about the
Yes.
project access? I've heard
I'm gonna
amazing.
tag team Roger on it because Roger was there all day too.
Yeah. I've even heard my team has tagged me 10 different times. I wish I could have been there. So if you could help highlight, because I definitely know there's
Absolutely.
wonderful things happen from there.
Can do.
Hi, this is Mitch. We do have a quorum in case you wanted to get started. So whenever you're ready. Allison, it looks like you're
Sorry.
ready to.
Can I have someone help with the land acknowledgement? If you put up our land acknowledgement statement. I'm happy to lead it as well because I firmly believe in it. So as we begin this meeting, we respectfully acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Dena'ina Athabascan people. The Dena'ina have stewarded this land for thousands of years and continue to do so today. We're honored their ongoing connection to this land, waters, and community. We recognize the enduring presence and contributions of Alaska Native people across the state and are committed to uplifting Indigenous voices, histories, and leadership. As a collaborative community group working to support and house members of our community, we acknowledge the legacy of colonization and its ongoing impacts, and we affirm our responsibility to promote equity, justice, and partnership with the Indigenous people of this region. Despite what some of the new policies are coming through, but I love this land acknowledgement and firmly believe that this is the best of us when we acknowledge all contributions into the peoples of this land. So with that, can I ask Jess to talk a little bit about Project Homeless Connect and some of the wonderful and anybody else that want to share some of their mission moments from that wonderful day of service.
Absolutely. Project Homeless Connect was yesterday down at the Egan Center. We were open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And when I say until 4 p.m., I believe we gave out the last meal around 4:45 p.m. And I can tell you that the representative from the DMV made a commitment. Her and the representative from Vital Statistics said they would not leave until every person in line had been served or until the Egan Center kicked us out. And we left a little after 7. So they stayed an extra 3 hours to get through the 40 people that were still in line at the time of at 4 o'clock, basically. So it absolutely amazing. We had 487 coordinated entry intakes and interims done. And that does not include anyone who didn't have anything to update and just got a current living situation update. So yeah, over 1,000 people we saw at the event. All the way until about 3 o'clock, there was a line that wrapped around the building to get in. The line started at 7 a.m. We showed up around 7 to start or to finish the setup. We were able to get in the day before, and there was already a line waiting out front for us. We served, I'm going to pull some numbers out of my head here now. We served just over 700 meals. 500 of them were a hot meal served by the Egan. Really, really nice salad, pasta, a roll, a cookie. And then we filled in when we saw the huge response, filled in and ordered some box lunches from Subway and had another couple hundred box lunches from Subway delivered to be able to hand out there as well. We had 90 actually, I think it was 92 providers, over 100 volunteers who did everything from managing a bike valet service and doing some bike repairs to serving those meals, all the way to people doing exit surveys and talking with people as they were leaving the event and finding out, where were their gaps? What did you access? What do you wish had been here? What couldn't you get to? We had 132 IDs, I believe, and just about everyone who got an ID also got a birth certificate. The IDs we were able to pay for the person. We had a generous donor who paid for those IDs. And then the Vital Statistics just provided the birth certificates for free. So they were able to do both of those things for people who were attending. We had GCI there doing Lifeline phones, trying to think of all of the kind of unique things. Oh, we had over 100 haircuts given. We had 7 different haircutters out there doing haircuts and had, over 100. We had about 200 people sign up for a haircut. Some people didn't want to wait for the haircut. And I believe at the end, we only ended up turning away at the end of the event, like the last 10 or 15 that we weren't able to get to at the time. So pretty incredible. We had the mammogram van down there. So the big mammogram truck was there to do mammograms for people. We had STD screening and testing on site. We had vaccinations. We had foot care. So many different providers. It was incredible to see. The need is huge. We saw a lot of people experiencing homelessness, of course, but we saw a lot of people who were really housing insecure, and they were coming down and saying, who can I talk to and what can I do to help get into housing that is more affordable, or get food assistance, or get assistance with utilities or safety to be able to help alleviate what that housing burden looks like for them. We had Duke out doing some live sketching, so that'll be exciting to have some some posters and some graphics of his experience and what he saw. There's a sneak peek on his social media if you follow his social media. And then we had the listening post. We had Harak, we had Roger, Terry was there. So we had a great little advocacy corner as well for people to engage and talk. But I'm gonna tag Roger in to talk about his experience. He came down as Harak and turned into a bit of a navigator for people for part of the day too.
Yeah, it was an awesome day. I was very glad I got there early and stayed until 5 or so anyway. I was first of all, I was just blessed to get to check in with so many of the folks that I know, to see them, to check in, to find out how they're doing, and you know, for the most part, they're still just doing the best they can and surviving. And they were very appreciative of the event and the services that were provided. Also, I very much noticed and appreciated in them their willingness to start conforming to just some basic community standards, to treating each other decent in public. We had a couple of very minor flare-ups. There wasn't any need for any, I mean, we had security on alert once or twice, but to the best of my knowledge, nothing got out of hand, and everybody held everybody else in check. And so the meals, were doing it as a sit-down meal, where the folks would come in and sit down and share a meal with the table. That was a very a plus for them in establishing and maintaining those community standards. And you know, overall, it just came off really well. And everybody understood that we just had so many more people show up than we expected. That there was a lot of folks standing in lines, either for the food line and or the coordinated entry line, but they were patient. They worked through it and made use of the time that they had there with just checking in with each other. So I thought it came off very well. And it points to the great need that we still have in our community. And you know, the promise that we can do this, we can help them find their meet their needs and walk with them through this. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Roger. Felicia, do you have something that's connected to the mission moment of Project Homeless, or I just want to make sure I acknowledge your hand. I think you actually turned yourself on mute accidentally.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Yeah, it definitely has something directly to do with Project Homeless Connect. I was there yesterday, and you know, for the first little part, I was held the door so the providers came in, would be able to come in, you know, without any obstacles in the way and things like that. And then I was downstairs at the hygiene, and just the atmosphere, it really just seemed like a lot of people came together, and the staff and the providers themselves. There was one, I had one incident with an older lady, and she wasn't feeling too good, so she took my arm and I walked her over to the winter gear. She ended up actually coming back into the hygiene room, and the staff and everybody was with her and immediately called for assistance to take her away in the ambulance. And that was really great to see, that it was so quick. She didn't have to sit there and have a bunch of people, because I actually, like I said, I initially engaged with her, and the listening post. I actually went ahead and that was another one of, I had heard about it, but I didn't know the name of it or anything. So that was actually really awesome. So I will be volunteering my time with the listening post, as well as with the Anchorage Coalition. So it really just, for me, it just kind of really brought what my personal mission, and being able to be a part of it is awesome. I appreciate it so much.
Hey, thanks, Felicia. And, you know, thanks, Coalition and others. I mean, I remember the first day, you know, the first year, so we're probably, I don't know, probably 10 years into maybe a Project Homeless Connect, but our ability to then retain information about directions and things that are great needs continues to grow. So I completely just want to thank the coalition and their leadership and really collecting information so that groups such as this and others can make sure that what we're doing is in service of those with greatest needs. So thanks, Jess, thanks, Raj, thanks, Felicia, and my team. Sorry I missed it. It's actually an enjoyable part of my day that I didn't get. So, but thank you guys for doing that.
I forgot, I don't know if she's on, but I forgot. I'm sorry, Kim. Kim with ICA was also there the entire day, helping out the CE kind of group there, answering questions, line control. Always a great thought partner in the, how are we going to manage this? Because we planned for about 500 people to attend. And as soon as we had about 500 people in the first 2 hours, we were like, oh no. So super thankful that she was there and able to help us manage some of that. Absolutely incredible how many people we saw.
Yeah. And I think the best of it continues to be from taking feedback constantly and just reevaluating what Project Homeless Connect helps access, right? So thank you guys, thank you team for doing that. And now just want to let you know, no worries, it's just the Amazon guy. I'm at my house. So can I have a motion on the consent agenda? Lucy. Charlotte.
This is Chris Schutte. I'll make a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented.
Second that.
Thank you, guys. It always happens. Amazon comes right when you don't want them to. Okay, with that, we're going to move right into the special presentation, which is by the Hope team. So Tanya, I think I saw you here. So if you could go right into our special presentation, I appreciate it.
This is Mitch. I don't see Tanya on the attendees here. I had sent them the information earlier and then just a few minutes ago noticing that they weren't here, so not sure what's going on.
Yeah, I think they're traveling actually. I think they're going to LA.
Ah.
I don't, but I could be wrong about which day they're traveling, but.
So why don't we move it? Why don't we go ahead and go into our council, the committee reports and see if they actually join for a special presentation. And I would start by first, we had 4 positions available through attrition, I guess is the best word for it. And the Executive Commission of the Homeless Prevention Response System would like to recommend that Jeanette Lee, Susan, let me make sure that I get all the names correct, Thea with the municipality, Susan Lukowski with Catholic Social Services. She's the Senior Director of Data, and Taylor Donovan, who is Director of Housing with Rural Cap, that this group moved to accept the recommended appointments for these 4 council positions. And then what happens is they will go into vote next year should they wish to continue, as I know everybody does. So this is an action item that I request the group to, 1, make a motion to accept this slate, and 2, make a motion that we accept them to fill out our council.
This is Chris. I'll make that motion to accept the new counselor appointments approved by the exec committee.
I'll
Is
second.
there a second?
Thanks. And Roger, did you second that?
Yeah, I did. I think Chuck
Great.
might have as well, but yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, well, Thea, Susan, Taylor, Susan, you guys get ready. Here we come. So anyway, now let's go into some of our council positions, some communications from our committee. And let's see, I'm looking at the participants on, I know we just did a coordinated entry, so Laura, I picked up on you pretty quick. Can you just help update us what the coordinated entry is working on?
Sure. So right now, Coordinated Entry Committee is working on an evaluation of the entirety of the Coordinated Entry system. And then we also have a second kind of subcommittee that is working on prioritization for all of the specific populations that are being entered into Coordinated Entry.
And again, these are meetings that, you know, we try to keep as current as possible on the ACH website, on committee meetings. I know that there was a change in a time, you know, for the coordinated entry, but any and all council members are welcome, encouraged to attend, as well as any community that want to participate in it. So thanks, Laura, for leading that effort and our overall system evaluation. I know we got some great pilot projects going and various other things. So thanks for your leadership in that space. Do I have Will on here for compliance?
I'm here, yes, for Community Priorities Committee. We didn't have our meeting
Yeah,
this week
sorry.
due to Project Homeless Connect, but our next meeting will be October 6th. We're hoping to finalize the gap analysis, also trying to work with the data committee to kind of coordinate on looking at data for the system. Definitely welcome anyone additional participation in the committee, and would love the co-chair as well. And yeah, it's 4 p.m. every other Monday, hybrid at the coalition or over Teams.
Sorry, Will, I got your committee name wrong. And I know that Laura is helping out kind of co-chairing data as we kind of level set our committees and make sure that we get some of the new committee members, council members assigned to committees. Chris, I don't know, has the business, I know it's a brand new committee. Have you guys met, or is there anything that you want to bring forward as a committee update?
No, not yet. What we weren't able to coordinate to get a meeting pulled together before the AC meeting today. So next month you'll have a robust report, I promise.
I know we will. So, and data, Laura, is there any update on that, or are we still? I know that for Susan's joining as a member and as a chair pretty quickly. So gracious for those that lean in and step up at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. She'll do great as a chair. So our last data committee, we really kind of dove into community-wide data. And so provider data, stuff like that. And right now the data committee is working on really building up the provider relationship between the data committee and our providers that are utilizing HMIS in order to kind of figure out where there's gaps and needs and capacity issues in getting data into HMIS in a timely and accurate way. And so that's kind of what we're working on right now.
Got it. So I will say that on October the 17th from 9 a.m. to 1, the HPRS, this council will be hosting a retreat at the Rasmussen Center. Whenever we accept public comments, if there's anything that members of the public would also like to add into our meeting to make sure that as a council, we have conversations on and considerations of. Happy to include those comments, but really what we're trying to do is to set forth kind of our agenda as far as vision of this council, our how we can make sure that as a group, we're making informed decisions with lived experience, voice at the table, and all the things that we're doing is then helping to inform our city and other elected officials with the process of, this is what we need as a community. So that is October the 17th. We're not going to change it, Chris Schutte, because you can't be there, but I will say that any member like you that does not attend will be assigned the lion's share of the responsibility follow-up. That's just the way it goes. I'm really sorry, but no, in general, it's a great time for us to get together to really continue to create a strong voice in this space, especially when there's just a lot of federal changes coming through and things that we want to make sure as a community I'm telling you, if you guys stop all these people that say they can't attend, I promise you will have so many responsibilities from that meeting that I can't imagine any other thing that you could be at that would be more important. So that's just me, just throwing it out there for you guys. Okay, 90th birthday. Dave, nothing will come your direction because at 4 a.m. I put my mom at 84 on a flight going home after the summer. So totally appreciate, we love and adhere to our moms. So
Thanks,
Dave is the
Allison.
only one that will not get additional assignments. Just saying all you guys. Hey, can we go into then just the government and operations report from the coalition? I know that we're all trying to navigate what are constantly, I don't even want to know cogs in the system of how we're delivering services, but also just changes and what federal expectations are or delivery of services. So any kind of updates or insights that you would offer would be great.
Absolutely. So on the federal side, you all know we submitted or resubmitted again the COC Builds project. Taylor is on and now an advisory council member. The projects that we submitted are two projects, both which would be developed by Rural Cap. We submitted them under a bit of duress. HUD is really focusing a lot of the language in the NOFO around taking housing first language out of the NOFO, requiring participation in case management services, changing really how some of that works, giving prioritization to communities that are not sanctuary cities or sanctuary states, that have in place local or state level laws that criminalize public camping or public sleeping. So we felt pretty confident that our community was able to meet all of this new criteria with these projects and submitted it. But right alongside the submission of the projects, there was a court filing asking for an injunction that HUD could not be asking grantees and projects to have criteria in place for the scoring that is outside of their control. And so they did side with the filers on that. So it's unclear right now what HUD will do with that particular competition, whether they will move forward taking those criteria out of the scoring kind of evaluation side of it, whether they will just scrap the entire project, or if they will scrap this NOFO and go back to the scoring that existed when they did it the second time. This was the third time they've submitted this, put this application out. So it's unclear what they'll do. I think we'll have an answer very shortly because the funding expires September 30th. So if we don't have awards out by Tuesday, then that's not happening. Also on the federal level, the fight around the continuing resolution continues on. People who've been doing this for a while will remember from prior years when we have had a government shutdown. Anyone who had locks, draws that were in place that don't require a HUD staff person to do any kind of approval or checking on it will still go through during a shutdown. But if it requires any kind of HUD involvement, it will be put on hold until the government shutdown is complete. The continuing resolution or gap funding that was put forward by the House did have level funding for our HUD homeless projects, but it seems like the debate on the Senate side is around, of course, pulling some of that funding back based on the budget conversations that have been happening about the full budget. Somewhat concerning. There's not a lot of detail on it yet, but the White House has been communicating that they want, as part of the shutdown plans from each department, not just their furlough plan, so who would be considered essential versus non-essential and what they would do. They want evaluations on people who aren't considered essential employees for or during a time of shutdown. They want termination plans for those staff. And that could have a pretty dramatic impact since the initial budget called for a dramatic reduction of HUD staff on top of what has already been reduced. So that is somewhat concerning that there might be some mass layoffs during this furlough or during this government shutdown. But then, of course, there's always a chance that on Monday they'll come through and pass a continuing resolution. So just watching that would definitely encourage anyone, though, who is a grantee who receives federal funds. If you have drawdowns to do, get in and do them. I would not let it get to September 30th and have the federal government owing you money. On the state level, definitely a lot of quietness happening right now. We are seeing some elections start to gear up and people filing to run, but keeping in good communication with people that have been supporters of homeless services funds and capital funds for housing development, and encouraging them to talk with us, talk with providers as they develop any pre-filed bills that they are considering, and ensuring that all of that is in place prior to the session starting. On the local level, now that Thea's on the advisory council too, we've got another source in there as well. On the local level, the funding for the ERA funds is wrapping up at the end of this month. There was some reallocation of funds done at Tuesday's meeting. So I believe that there's been communication out with all the grantees about how we're down to the wire on this funding and getting the dollars out to the people. It is coming up on budget time, so we should be seeing the budgets out here soon, and then that will start the work sessions and public comment periods for the fiscal or city fiscal year 26 budget. And we'll be able to see what some of those services are planned in there. On the service side, the new shelter down on Fifth Avenue, Linda's Place, is up and at full capacity now. So there are 100 beds at Linda's Place. that is, the 100 beds there is new year-round beds for our community. East 56th Avenue shelter, which was operating at 200 bed capacity, is now at a 100 bed capacity out there. We continue to have the 100 beds of non-congregate shelter at the Alex, and all 3 of those shelters are now year-round shelters. The winter plan is to evaluate and activate surge capacity beds at the Linda's Place and 56th Avenue shelters. So continuing and having those conversations with the shelter providers, with Thea, with the health department, to work through some of those evaluations and determine when those beds get turned on, how they get turned on, and what that criteria looks like for that surge capacity. The remaining shelters all are operating as they have been. We have some updated literature on our website that add the new shelter beds to it, and communication information on how to access those shelters. The new shelter, Linda's Place, is another walk-up 24/7 shelter, just like East 56th is. So it is, those 2 shelters add to our capacity of walk-up Lowberry shelter.
Hey, Jess, not to put you on the spot, but do we know what our occupancy is going into cold weather? So like, you know, do we, the beds that we have, is there some concern, or is there any conversations about our occupancy and then our capacity? Are they going to be able to kind of meet the need?
Yeah, all of our shelter beds have been at pretty much 100% capacity. This morning, I want to say there were 3 beds across the 3 shelters that are municipally operated and funded. The rest of the shelters all remain pretty full as well. Monitoring the dashboards, you might see 1 or 2 beds at the rescue mission, for example, night overnight. Downtown Hope Center is still operating at a higher capacity than like their advertised beds. They're not over capacity when it comes to like fire, but they've designed that space to have room for 70 beds. And what they've done is taken, if you've ever been inside there, when you walk in right to your left where you would go out to the courtyard, what they've done is lined up an additional 10 bed spaces along that wall there. So they actually have either 80 or 82 beds that are full every night. So we are monitoring turnaways. So when we have someone who comes to a walk-up shelter and there isn't space, or if our outreach teams are encountering someone who wants to go to shelter but there is no space, we are monitoring that in our conversations with the municipality. So making sure that they're aware of not just what the shelter capacities are, but how many people are returning away night overnight. Working on a system to deduplicate that so we can track whether or not it is you know, the same person approaching all 3 shelters 3 nights in a row, or is that actually 9 different people? So once we have some methods of doing some of that deduplication, I think we'll have a really good picture of what the need looks like in terms of people actively approaching the shelter and actively asking for shelter. But I think that is going to be a challenge, ensuring that we have flow through our existing shelters to be able to accommodate people who are outside and as it gets colder want to come inside. I'm assuming you're seeing the same thing at Covenant House, that you are.
Yeah, I mean,
Full I know you're full every night, but I assume
Yeah,
you're seeing.
I mean, I was
turnaways.
even wondering, I know Randy's on the line where Awake is sitting, like are all the shelters and all spaces. You know, just how we navigate this. I know that I appreciate going to a community system that's not cold weather versus not cold weather, right? To have kind of a year-round shelter basis. But there definitely is an influx that happens when, you know, we have snow on the ground and such. So I don't know, Randy, not to put you on the spot, but what the occupancy might be of Awake at this time?
Yeah, I haven't looked at the census today, but yesterday we had 1 bed space, and
Okay.
so it fluctuates hour to hour, and usually we have, like that 0 to 2 bed spaces.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the great thing is that, the system now, I mean, Thea on board with us too. Like we're all trying to navigate it. We're all trying to make sure that we have adequate spaces for people to go. So, and I appreciate the city's intent on getting providers together and conversations about need. And so definitely different. At some days, it doesn't feel like we've made leaps and bounds, but I promise you, we've made some leaps and bounds in just investment as a community in a homeless response system. So with that being said, thank you, Jess. And I do believe that.
Well, Roger had his hand up, and then also, it's not really on our agenda, but since we had a little bit of extra time, I wanted to kick it to Kim and let her do a little quick HMIS lead update, and then we can think about if we want to add that as a regular agenda item.
Okay.
But Roger had his hand up.
Yep, Roger, sorry, I can't really see the hands up, but.
Well, I'm in the office, so my hand up is physically my hand up. Commenting on Linda's Place, and I wanted to add that they have arranged an area actually on the 3rd floor, so a completely separate area for ladies who want that privacy and safety, and what a big deal that is for them to, have that physical separation. And so that was all I wanted to add. Yeah.
Well, thanks for bringing that forward. Hey, Tanya, can you talk a little bit about Hope Team? I know that I feel like you're on now, and I don't want to overpressure you, but if you could give us an update about the Hope Team, that would be appreciated. And thanks for doing it while you're traveling.
Well, you have both Ruth and I, actually. We're just kind of driving, but we're both here. So yeah, I mean, we just are doing our daily outreach. You did kind of catch me off guard. I wasn't ready to talk, but today is our last day, so we will be gone for 2 weeks. We're going to go to LA and kind of visit kind of what they're doing there and some of the systems that they have in place there. So we're pretty excited to go spend some time with the health department and the police departments in LA. So that is very exciting. And then as far as outreach, I think, we're just kind of doing that every day. And we have some partners that are going out with us now, which is very exciting. Am I forgetting anything? And I think that's about it. It's a pretty quick update. It's just the same kind of stuff every day.
Hey, definitely thanks for the service that you're doing and what you're doing. And I definitely appreciate how Hope Team has come alongside of many providers doing the service in a very special way. So I appreciate it. I appreciate on the fly as you're driving to an airport conversation, because I've often been caught in that. But we've heard some great things from the work of the Hope Team. And if there's anything that we can do to continue to support the Hope Team, it would be great if you bring those forward to this group, because we definitely can appreciate that mental health and the crisis experience when someone is actively living in the trauma of homelessness, that we need to make sure that we have the right resources available. And often when we just present as a housing entity, we're not taking into account the holistic representation of a person in need. So if there's anything that we can do, or if there's any insights that you learned from your training, please feel free, and we'll put you on as a presentation of these are some things that we see other communities doing that are really working. Because that's ultimately why we have probably the word hope in it, right? That we hope that our efforts are to definitely meet the needs that exist in our community.
Yeah, we would love to share all of that. So yes, as soon as we get back, I'm not sure when you guys can kind of put us in, but we'd love to maybe come in person or something and just talk about some of the stuff that we learned while we're gone.
Yeah, maybe what I can do also is give you some information about the retreat time where you have all the council members, and if there's a way that maybe an hour out of it that we understand some best practices or learnings that are happening in other communities, so that it sets us up as a community to bring those things into place.
We would love that.
Especially since, I don't know, 5 of my council members say they have a conflict. It's going to be me, you, and Roger.
Didn't we do a doodle poll for this? I'm just saying.
Yeah, we did a doodle poll, and that was the best doodle day that we got. I'm just saying, as me as a doodle up there in my picture. Sorry, I didn't realize I had my doodle up there. But as a doodle, that was the best day that we could get. So anyway, but I will say that probably the new council people weren't maybe given both options. So I'll give them a little bit of grace, not a lot, a little bit of grace in that space. So anyway.
I don't know if you saw it in the chat. Thea had a question also.
Okay. Oh, I don't know how I can follow. So, so Thea asked a question, which partners are now working with the HOPE team? You know, do we want that from the HOPE team, or do we want that from?
No, I just was curious for an update from Tanya and Ruth, like
yeah,
who they
that'd
are
be
working
great.
with the most frequently now.
Oh, so many that it's hard. I'm going to start naming them off. I'm going to forget someone and then I'm going to feel bad. But going out and partnering with us on outreach, currently we have True North Recovery, and that's every Monday and Tuesday for the day. But anytime we need them, we can call them and they come in. So that's been a great relationship. We have the health department going out with us as well. And we have Dr. John coming out. So they are able to help with just different types of testing. If folks want it, they're just available, right? And people ask for that all the time. So it's been great to kind of have that out there. We have the medical aspect with Dr. John. So people who don't have primary care are now being hooked into primary care outside of just all the other testing like TB, STI, pregnancies, stuff like that. And so that happens now. That's happening on Thursday. That was just a shift. And then we have, as far as working partnerships where we could just pick up the phone and call. I mean, the community is pretty amazing. I know that Ruth and I are kind of out there doing outreach, but I don't know that we could do it without the partners on the other end of the phone that we could just call up. RSS has been amazing with helping us just find resources for folks. So I think going outreach is those 3, but NeighborWorks is a big partner that we can call for like housing and just, I don't know what to do with this person, help out. So like those are, the list of that would be huge, but so I guess it's a 2-part question, or a 2-part answer, and that outreach is currently those, and then partners are the forever list that you guys probably already have.
It's awesome. Thanks, Tanya.
So now let's go into just a public questions or comments section. I know that we want to make sure that we also provide opportunity and space for people to bring thoughts, ideas into the space. And it's been great. We've been able to follow up on some items. We've been able to bring some clarity to items, but sometimes it doesn't feel like a direct response. But with that being said, I would like to invite any member of the public or a member of any of the council for their 3 minutes. And I can't really call on, I'm not really finding, so Jess, if you can help me with the hands up. I'm not good at hands up right now.
You have Jamie and then Felicia.
Okay. Jamie, you want to go first?
I guess so. Hi, Allison. How you doing today? Stopped by Project Homeless Connect yesterday. I'd say it was a really successful event.
Oh, Jamie, we lost you.
Hey, Jamie, I think we lost you. We can stop it.
Test.
There. Now you're back.
Okay, am I back?
You're
Yeah,
back.
something's going on. Sorry. I'll start again. So I said, hi, Allison. I hope things are well. Obviously, Project Homeless Connect was a very successful event. It was slammed. There were lots of people, and a line was going all the way around the block for the most part. And so people got access to services that they desperately need. I'm hoping, obviously, that things go well in the winter. I hate being the doom and gloom guy on the forecast front, but I think it's not going to go well. And so all I can continue to say is, try to do the best you can and support as best as you can. But yeah, it's anyways, great event. Jess, you did well. Team did well. And I think I'll leave it at that. All right. Have a good day. Go.
Thanks, Jamie. Felicia.
Yes, so I actually have a question as far as because a large part of the homeless that are actually out on the street are indigenous people. How is their how is that feeding it? How is that working with the different I can't even think of the name now. The
Tribal engagement.
yes, exactly. Just
Yeah.
how being able to find because I'm going to be quite honest, a lot of the times they have mistrust in the Caucasians, white
Yeah.
people. They have a very big mistrust. I lived in Dillingham and in Bethel, so I have personally witnessed and here in Anchorage, just there's a big they have a mistrust of different groups and things like that. So how is that being tied in? Is my question. Is something I would really like to further delve
Yeah,
into.
that's Felicia, it's a great question. And I know that this isn't a Q&A for me, so it's not necessarily to answer, but I can say in my 20 plus years, of course, I started when I was 9. In my 20 plus years in this kind of work, I feel like tribal engagement is at its height. And I do know that South Central is now in spaces that they have not been in before, and actually are, within a year opening up probably the largest point of some permanent supportive housing that will exist in our state. So it's a great point, and I see the counter going off. It's not. I don't want to take up your time, but I personally feel like we have come to a space that we realize that community is community, and that it takes us all being a part of it. And I hear what you're saying, and I acknowledge, even if I only acknowledge for one space, that we have, we literally have all tribal partners that we can on our space. And so it's been a great working relationship to have each organization kind of do what they do best and then help expand the resources. And is it moving at the fastest pace? It's moving at the pace that we all can manage, with the idea that we know that together we're going to be better in the space. And that's my response. I don't know if anybody else, I'd welcome any other member to make a comment on it, but I'm just grateful that it is definitely in a different space where I feel like we're at many tables together instead of separate tables having the same conversation. Working toward better all the time is probably what I would say.
Yeah, something
Awesome.
I would just, yeah, I was gonna say something I would just pop in with, and I see Kim's hand up, and so I'm gonna talk real fast so Kim has a chance to talk about more data. But that is something we look at. We look at on a month-over-month basis the overrepresentation of American Indian, Alaska Native people, both in the population of people experiencing homelessness and the new entries into homelessness. and are always having that conversation about how can we ensure that our services are more culturally responsive, not just to not just the programs that are already geared to American Indian, Alaska Native people. So how can we make sure that we are having those trainings and those conversations about, you know, how to have the conversations, how to talk, how to bring activities into your program that can help serve people in a more culturally responsive way. So tag Kim in, but that is something we look at and talk about a lot around the data.
Kim.
I don't have to talk on that topic though, right?
No.
Oh, well, let me just finish one thing on that topic.
Yeah.
Because I would say, Felicia, I think sometimes it's not always apparent how provider organizations are partnering with our tribal entities. And I even know, I could give you an example, even at Covenant House, where we might have a disproportionate amount of Alaska Native young people. And what we were initially looking at was that the young people were not succeeding at the same rate. And so we've done a lot of work with our partner entities to bring in additional help and services. And in addition to Cook Inlet Housing, Cook Inlet Tribal, South Central Foundation, right? So it has taken us all realizing that we all have a piece of this. And so I feel like there are spaces where someone might not see that organizations are partnering in ways to address that and create a better community. And so, you know, I'm one example, you know, one is someone who is kind of controlling where the mic goes. Sorry about that. But also one that knows as an organization how we've struggled and how we have been come alongside of with many partners to make our outcomes equitable, no matter whether you're an Alaska Native young person seeking our services or any other young person. So that being said, I don't know if anybody else has a comment specifically toward this, but definitely appreciate your comment, and always feel like it's our job to create spaces for more conversations about this. And I can't really see hands except Kim, which I know she doesn't want to talk about this.
No, it's not. I just don't feel like I can contribute to this in a meaningful way, because I would say the same thing Jessica said. I think the providers' experience and acknowledgement of how to interact with folks that are American and Alaska Native is more relevant than what I would have to say.
And Felicia, anytime too, like I'm happy to even walk you through outside of you know this meeting, some of the work that we've tried to do as a particular organization in reaching, addressing, and coming into full collaboration. And I'm just really pleased to say our partners stand beside us strongly. Cook Inlet Housing, South Central Foundation, Cook Inlet Tribal Council, many of the various village corporations that are now connecting young people immediately to access to scholarship or training programs. So it's a process that's happening. And I think that all of us have just needed to make sure that we created space for that.
Hey, Allison, this is Olivia. Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
Sorry, I'm having technical problems with this, my things. And so I was catching things in and out. This is Olivia Lorenzo. I'm Vice President of Primary Care for South Central Foundation. I just appreciate everybody's support and all the things that you guys are doing to support the entire community. And obviously where I work is South Central Foundation, and we serve Alaska Native and American Indian people that live in Alaska, but obviously the focus is Alaska Native people, and it is disheartening that there's a large, a disproportionate amount of Alaska Native American Indian people and minorities in general that is homeless, and so I just want to acknowledge the support, the partnership, and the collaboration that everybody is doing to support the community.
Yeah, and actually probably one of these meetings, you know, in the next couple of months, it'd be great to have even the update about the capital project, which is bringing a lot of permanent supportive housing in our community, that South Central is leading the effort, which is just amazing, right? And I don't know that everybody's fully aware. So we'll make sure that we provide that opportunity. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I can put up a slide too that just gives that update to Allison for future ones.
Okay. Thank you. Kim?
Okay, I'm gonna make this quick. HMIS governance review is in full swing. There is another meeting, or the last meeting is on the 6th of October at 1 o'clock. If you have anything to add or would like to discuss on HMIS governance, please come to that. Otherwise, it will be on the November agenda for approval by this board. HUD data standards are still poised to come out on October 1st, but we do not have final guidance on what that will be yet. So we're rolling with the punches, just the same as all the providers are. We'll get you the information as soon as we have it. The next piece after that is federal reports. PIT is going to be January 26th. So PIT and HIC is January 26th. We'll be reaching out to providers. If there's any providers that are new to the scene that have beds dedicated to homelessness, please let us know about those or get them connected. And then there's the LSA is happening in the fall as well. I don't know what to expect with that because everything from the federal government has been delayed this year. So usually it's November, December, January. I don't know what to expect, but that's coming soon. We are doing a monitoring of participating agencies. Those emails have all gone out to folks. And that's an annual requirement of ours that we're supposed to monitor everybody that's participating. So we've been working through that. And then the final thing I just want to mention is we have been doing office hours for kind of all questions. We're doing that Tuesdays at noon. We've been doing that weekly all summer long. And then once a month, we have reporting specific office hours. And those are going out in the newsletter. And then anybody that has HMIS access, there's a note on the system news about when all of that stuff is. So if folks have any questions or just need access to us, there is always a help desk, but we have office hours happening too. I'm going to call that good.
Okay.
Today.
Hey, thanks, Kim. Mitch, do we have any final slides on just upcoming? So these are the next.
Allison Rogers got something real quick.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
I know, hands. Maybe I should start
I know,
raising
I'm
the
sorry.
hand of us here in the office. I could do that.
No, that's fine. And I didn't speak up during the committee section, but the compliance committee is looking for a new chair. I am trying to transition to the HRAC and working on charter and membership on that itself. And so Randy had just popped me an email saying she was wanting to get on the roster. And if there's anybody out there who's interested in compliance and willing to chair or co-chair, we are looking for somebody for that position. And,
you know, with all straight face, and I'm on camera, Randy is going to be the greatest at leading our compliance committee. So thank you, Randy. And I didn't even voluntold you, right? Like, thank you for leaning into that. You know,
our text before is like, let's get together for lunch.
Yeah, you will be great. You have many skills that will help us continue to be a council that always is evaluating ourselves and always striving to be better. So thanks for volunteering, because I didn't even voluntold you. So I really appreciate that. And thanks, Roger, for bringing that up, because we definitely need it on the recording that Randy is interested in doing that. So yeah, that being said, Any last closing comments? Again, I hope that if you can't be at the retreat, if you have items for the retreat, we're happy to bring them in. Happy to try to meet with some people that were not, were the opposite part of the survey that said that day did not work for you. Happy to try to bring in some of your thoughts, because really we're trying to figure out how collectively as a group we can continue to move us more than just a system of intervention, but a system of prevention and response. So with that, I say everybody have a great day. Any closing comments? And Jess, you have to help me if any hands are up.
Nope.
And we're working really hard for those that might hear the recording on making sure that we have a standardized within X amount of days, this video will be posted. We're working really hard, I promise. And hopefully we will figure out a system where anybody that doesn't attend and wants to go in and understand what we did as a committee will understand it soon. Okay, everybody have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Allison.
Bye-bye.